Wrestling fans, we have a special treat this week. We are joined by independent wrestler Tim Strange. Tim, thank you so much for joining us. It's an
No
absolute pleasure.
problem.
Uh,
Pleasure's
so,
mine. Thanks for having me.
absolutely. So, my friend, me and you, we have something in common. We were both born and bred in Newfoundland. What part of the Rock are
You
you
know it.
from?
I'm from Carbonair, small town in the Conception Bay. Uh, Carbonair, Newfoundland. About 3,000 people, just about an hour from St. John's. So yeah, it's good. It's good. That's where I grew up.
And were
Spent a
you
lot of
always
years
a
there, and then moved to Calgary.
Oh, okay, so you moved to Calgary. So were you a fan
Yeah.
of wrestling growing up as a kid in Newfoundland
Oh,
first, or is that something that you
oh,
moved
yeah.
into?
All my life I've had wrestling. Wrestling's always been a main constant in my entire life. It was for as long as I can remember. Me and my pals were obsessed with wrestling. All we talked about was wrestling. All we wanted to do was wrestle in the back garden and mess on and do what we can all the time in the snow, having Royal Rumbles in the snow and everything. So it was good. It was good. I remember as long as I can remember, as I say, wrestling's always been the one main constant in my life. Always, still is now. At 42 years old, I'm still just wrestling. Always,
Right?
always.
And how did you get your start? Did you actually start wrestling in Newfoundland? Because we don't hear of that many wrestlers coming out of Newfoundland. Of course, we have your Sailor White, and
Yeah.
these days you have Moondog Dylan Davis, but you don't really hear of many Newfoundlanders making a successful name for themselves outside the province.
Well, there wasn't really a lot because by the time I left, back in the day, you couldn't train until you were an adult. It's not like nowadays we have a lot of these schools have like youth programs and kids training and stuff like that. Back when I started, you had to be 18 years old. You know what I mean? To train. So I had left Newfoundland before I had actually was old enough to train. I was in Calgary at the time. I went up and seen the dungeon a couple times with Bruce. So I went there a couple times to scope that.
Oh wow,
But
what
then I
was that
ended up
like?
moving. It was great. It was brilliant. There was a lot of great talent there. It was good. Like obviously, it was nice. I met him at the signing the card for Brett after he had a stroke and
Okay.
at the Chinook Mall in Calgary. And I met Bruce there and I got talking to him. He said, "You're a big guy. Why don't you come up and just see what you think?" And I went up there, but then shortly after that, I moved to England. So I didn't really get a chance to train there, which I wish. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. You look back, but when you're a young kid, you just want to travel and get out there. And then I moved to England and I started training in England with a lot of the old World of Sport guys and a lot of the old. My trainer was Iceman up in the northeast of England, and he trained me up here, so I still wrestle him regularly.
Iceman,
So we're
I've heard
both
that
still
name a
going
lot.
strong.
He's trained a lot of
Yeah,
people, right? Yeah.
yeah, he's trained a lot of the guys from up here. There's a lot of guys who's he's helped along the way and things like that. But you've got a lot like we work closely with a lot of the Scottish guys who are now in the WWE doing well for themselves. The likes of because England, the UK, places like that is very close knit. So it doesn't take much. It's like an hour flight to Ireland from here. It's like it's nothing to get
Right.
around and travel. So you see a lot of the guys. So when I was coming up through, you were working shows with people like Sheamus, like Drew McIntyre, like Wolfgang and the guy and the Coffee Brothers from NXT and all these guys who are doing really well for themselves and things like that, which is good to see. But the scene over here is so busy. Like the shows every weekend, like every time. So you can fill your calendar here. And then you've got the camp shows during the summer that all week you could be wrestling every day of the week, which is ideal. There's nothing like it. So it's good for getting your reps for anybody who wants to come over and actually wrestle. It's good for those guys who want to get their reps and get as many matches under the belt as possible to hone their skills and stuff like that.
It
So,
seems like there's a big explosion on the independent scene these days. It seems like over here in Canada too, doesn't matter what town you're in, doesn't matter what population that town is, you're going to have a wrestling show at least once a month.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's so many promotions everywhere
it's a
in an
good
hour
thing
and a
and a
half
bad thing.
radius, right? From here, yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
thing over there in
that's
UK.
it's the same problems. Like I speak to a lot of the guys who come over here from America and from Canada and stuff like that. And it's always you get the same issues with everywhere. It's people go do a training school and they're not getting pushed on the shows or not getting this, and then they go away and they set up their own and they set up their own, and there's no sort of rhyme or reason to it. And the next thing you know, you have 20 promotions and within an hour radius of each other,
It's literally the Wild
all
West.
competing and having having their own Monday Night Wars that nobody really cares about apart from them, because they
Right.
don't realize that the fans just see pro wrestling. They don't see the initials. They just see, unless you're like a WWE or on TV or you have, nobody sees it unless they're a regular fan of yours. Nobody recognizes the brand. Like most of the families and that go to the shows the same reason my dad took me to shows,
Hmm.
because my boy likes wrestling. I'm going to take him to see a wrestling show.
Of course.
He doesn't go, well, I best not go see that one because that one's feuding with that one over the road. Nobody cares. Like,
Hmm.
it's
Right.
just, apart from them, it's just like, get on with it. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great. I'm looking forward to, got a lot of stuff coming up. So
That's
exciting
good.
times for that.
Absolutely.
So
And I'm just interested because when you think of UK, normally you think of the European style. You think your Regals and
yeah.
your Finleys and stuff like that. How did you get yourself into death matches? Where did that all come from?
Well, I've always been a fan of deathmatch wrestling. I've watched it since back CZW, early days of CZW, the tournaments of death and everything like this. And I used to watch like Necro Butcher and people like that wrestling, and I was always massive inspirations for me because I liked it. But there was never really a scene over here in the UK for that, and I was busy with the family shows and 18 plus shows here, doing little bits of hardcore. But you're mostly your attitude era hardcore. You're out, you're drawing pins, your barbed wire bat. You don't mean nothing too extreme and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of guys over here like Iceman, for instance. You got Big F and Joe. You've got people like Danny Darko, Lou Nixon. All these guys are my pals who I was doing family shows with and things like that, like Michael Caden. And once the scene grew over here, an opportunity came up to say, "Hey, do you want to do one?" And now I'm probably in the twilight of my career now. This is my second year doing death matches, but I've wrestled now for 23 years, and I'm 42 now, so I'm getting up there in age, and I'm just going. And I thought to myself, you know, if I don't do it, I never want to have that. What if I tried it? I should have tried it when I had a chance. And I thought I'll go and do it. And then I loved watching it, but I love doing it. Like it's brilliant. I think it's the last true bastion of professional wrestling. I know a lot of people have their opinions on it, but for me, it's like the last true bit that people go, hold on, did he just do that? And you don't get that in normal wrestling matches anymore because people are always in on the business. But the
Right.
deathmatch style, and because it is so dangerous and risky, people go, wait a minute, did he just put him through a pane of glass? Did he just light him on fire? Did he just do that? And yeah, it's like it's people believe it and people buy into it, which is great to see. Which is like, but as I say, going back, there wasn't really a scene here, and then the scene exploded
Hmm.
with all these guys, and I just thought, now's my chance to do it. Before that, I was doing camp shows, I was doing family shows every week anyway, and I
Okay.
didn't really want to do it because when the scene was small, because I thought these guys are getting work doing this, and that's their niche in the market. So I don't want to be that guy who goes, "Oh, they're doing this, I want to do that." But then one of the guys, Andrew Crammon from Bleeding Gums in Scotland, said, "I'm doing a Lust for Death tournament." And I was on a lot of the 18 plus shows where the death matches were on,
Hmm.
but I was never in a death match. He said, "Do you want to do a death match?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, sure, why not?" And then I did it, and then I thought, "Yeah, I want to do these every week now.
I find it absolutely
I do them every day if I
fascinating
could."
that you were wrestling for about 18 years before you got into the deathmatch stuff.
Yeah,
Usually you see it's the other way around. What kind of style were you doing at first? Were you doing just like your basic big man? Did you take many
yeah. I mean,
bumps?
well, the thing is, when I started wrestling, I wasn't seen as a big man. I was a normal sized guy because everybody was big back then.
Right.
And now a lot of the times the wrestlers have got a lot smaller, so which makes me a big man. Plus, I've put on a lot of weight, but now I'm like 400 plus pounds. I'm 6'6", so I am a big guy, and I wrestle as a big guy. But I've always been a striker, powerhouse, I would say, wrestler. Pick people up, drop them, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I've never been really one for big moves. I'm a fan of like Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, Terry Gordy, Terry Funk, Dory Funk, those styles of wrestling, which is they make it look like it's an actual fight. And I think that's like a lot of that I bring into my matches because I want people to think, yeah, he's having fun. Yeah, but it's a fight here. It's a fight. So if I'm in there and I'm doing the family shows, I'm the big bully. I'm gonna be punching people and chopping people and hitting people, and they're gonna be going, oh, and then I'm having fun doing it because I'm a bully. You know what I mean? And then when I'm there, it's like and I don't actually change the style. It's just it's who I'm beating up. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't really matter who I'm wrestling, whether I'm wrestling a good guy or a bad guy. I don't change the style of wrestling. Just the fans want to see me beat this guy up. They don't want to see me beat that guy up. So that sort of dictates who and what I do. But the style's always the same, which is rough and rugged. Just that's what. But that's what I love watching in wrestling because it looks like a real fight. Like I appreciate the athleticism with a lot of these guys doing
The
the
flips.
flips and the dips and the choreographed spots and sequences and don't get me wrong, brilliant athletes and things like that. But it's not for me to watch. Like I couldn't watch a full show of that. I couldn't watch a full show of what I do, but that's where wrestling's beautiful because it's an art form that there's a variety. If you don't like this match, give it 10 minutes. There'll be another match on that might be more your style, your cup of tea.
Little something for
Do you know what I mean? And
everybody.
that's the thing
Exactly.
they have. Exactly,
Yeah.
there's something for everything. Whereas I think a lot of the shows out there now just have these. Oh, we like this style of wrestling, so we're gonna have 8 matches of that style of wrestling, and it's not a variety anymore. But you need the characters, you need the big hitters, you need people like that. So you get that sort of it's styles make matches. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. But although I appreciate the athleticism that's involved with the choreographed stuff, I don't think it really looks like a fight.
Of
Do you know what I
course.
mean? It's
Yeah.
it's like
No,
watching an old ninja
absolutely.
film. Like it
Anybody
looks
who's
good, but
watched the
it's
show knows my opinion on Will Ospreay. Great athlete, as you said, but
yeah.
it's the same match every time, kind of thing. You
Well,
know
that's
what he's
it.
going to
That's it.
do in at the same point every match, kind of thing. So I get what
Oh
you're
yeah,
saying. I get what you're saying.
it's the same sequence, it's the same everything, the same
Yeah,
reactions, the same stuff, and eventually, like if you were doing that here and you were going like back in the old territory days where you're going town to town and you could do like Ric Flair does pretty much the same match.
yeah,
But but Ric Flair, when he was coming up in the business, it was territories. People didn't watch the same show every day. But
exactly.
if you're on weekly shows doing exactly the same match, it soon gets tiring.
So you do the
Do you
same
know what I
flop
mean? It's,
every single week. The exact
exactly
same way. It
same
just
thing,
yeah,
same everything. It's like, oh well, here he goes again. But I think a lot of the times nowadays is, and I know this is probably going to sound bad, but I don't think fans know what good wrestling is anymore. Because long gone are the days where you see people like Bret Hart and Roddy Piper put on a classic storytelling match. Bret Hart and Stone Cold, Bret Hart and
hmm
Kevin Nash, do you know what I mean? Or Diesel. Survivor Series 95 is one of my favorite matches of all time. And it tells me because it's a story involved in it. And it builds up and it has everything you want from a match.
you just gain a
It
lot of
looks like a
respect
fight.
from our co-host. That's one
Exactly.
of his favorite matches as well. Diesel and Brett from Survivor
Yeah,
Series. Yeah, we love that match
that's it.
too.
And it's like it slowly builds and builds and builds. And I'm saying
Yeah.
like, but if you go watch and back and watch any match from like 97 backwards, they're so much better than what they are nowadays. And I don't know if it's because they're not given the times that they used to be given, or that it's like the matches are a lot shorter. And not to say there's no good matches on, because Chad Gable and Walter or Gunther had a brilliant match on Raw
Hmm.
last year, and things like that. There was great storytelling, a great match again, and they had built up with his family and can he do this and all this sort of stuff. So there is wrestlers out there doing it, but I don't think the fans really can appreciate it because it's not every match telling you a different story. It's maybe one or two matches have a decent story, and the rest of them just you and you
Segmentize.
versus
So yeah,
you.
yeah.
Exactly, and it's like you versus you. Why? Don't know. Just because we need to fill 10 minutes. Do you not want a match? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's sort of things like
100%.
this, and it's like, and I think that's what, and then fans will come and say like, oh, this was good, that was good, this was good, but it's like it wasn't though. You know what I mean? It's like I appreciate everyone. Everyone has their own opinion, and everyone likes stuff, different things and stuff. But sometimes it's like, oh, this was brilliant, and you go, what was brilliant about it? Tell me what made you feel? What did you feel in that match?
Exactly.
Did you feel anything in that match, or did you just think I seen 4 or 5 sequences that were really cool?
Hmm.
And you might take away one of those. Oh, do you remember when he did the double backflip off the top rope and landed on his feet? Yeah, that was impressive. But then next match comes on, they do the same thing, and you forgot about that. There's no sort of memorable moment in that. You don't remember anything about that.
No,
But
no.
I can go on about that for
Forever's
hours,
right.
for
I know.
hours.
I hear you.
I
I
can just
hear
go
you.
on rants. I can just go on rants about it. It's like, but what was good about it? What was good about it? It's like, but I mean it's good that the fans. I think independent wrestling does help a lot as well because there's that many fans that are loyal. Like we've got some great fans over here in the UK and in America, and they'll like travel, they'll interact with you, they'll buy you merchandise, they'll speak to you, they'll promote your shows, they promote your pictures, share and like, and all this sort of stuff. And I think that's a good thing for social media that's allowed that to sort of grow and build,
Growth. Yeah.
where the fans actually the fans become your friends to a degree. Like you know what I mean? Like I always
Yeah. Yeah. I can see
keep
that.
my personal. I've got like my Facebook as my personal thing where I pictures of my kids and stuff like that on my Instagram. My Twitters are more for wrestling, but like
Right. Yeah.
people will drop me Instagram messages and after matches to check in on me and stuff like this, and you go like, I appreciate that, like because it's nice for people to do that and things, and it's and stuff like that. So it's like, but they'll travel the world. Like you got some fans like there's people here in the UK that'll go over if a guy's doing a show in America. They'll fly to America to watch the show, and I'm thinking, you're spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds and hundreds of dollars to go over and support these guys doing what they love to do. And you cannot beat that. You know what I mean? You cannot beat that feeling that people are behind you and backing you to do it.
Absolutely.
It's
They
a
legit
beautiful
want to see
feeling.
you
It's
succeed. Like, yeah, they're invested in you.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that's my guy. Like, you're their guy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're like, and that's it's a beautiful thing. So it's I appreciate everyone. Buy my t-shirts.
That's awesome.
Buy my
It
merch.
is a
Buy the
beautiful thing.
merch. That's it.
Um,
It's a beautiful thing.
Tim, you mentioned that you've been put through panes of glass. I seen you being
Yeah.
branded by fire in one of your videos not too long ago.
Yeah.
What's some of the craziest things you've seen or done in the ring besides that? I mean, that's crazy enough as it is, but
It's crazy. It's sort of in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? It's sort of like what do you think's crazy? One man's crazy is another man's normality. But I think it's like for me, I've had a tooth pulled, I've had tattooed, I've been branded 4 or 5 times. Uh, it's all pretty good. Like I'm all right. It's good. It hurts a lot at the time, but then afterwards you're like, yeah, that was good. I could do that again. There's nothing I've done where I was thought I'll never do that again.
it's
That was shit.
amazing
I'll
how
never
death
do that.
matches are prolonging your career. Like
Well, that's it.
it's
That's it.
mind-boggling,
You look at stuff and you go, yeah, I'd do that again, or I'd try that. And I think
right?
it's all mental. Like a lot of the pain stuff and stuff you feel is all the
Hmm.
anticipation of oh shit, this is coming. Now it's happened. Now
Right?
I'm all right. I'll do it again. Do you know what I mean? It's like that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, and it's like there's nothing really behind it that goes,
It's
oh,
just a
that was really
process.
bad. But I mean, I've seen people use sort of car batteries on people. I've seen people obviously go through panes of glass, use shark teeth, use porcupine quills,
Oh my God.
everything. This is like there's loads of stuff out there that people are doing, and that's what I love about it because it's so you have so much creativity. There's some stuff you'll go and say, I've got an idea, and they'll go, that's fucking stupid. Let's find a way to do it as safe as possible. But it's all about the visuals. Like there's a lot of guys will
Right.
do silly things, but they don't really capture a visual. There's no moment. You're not building to anything. It's just like, I've just done this moment for the sake of doing something. There's no reason for doing it, and
Right.
that's just where I think a lot of the times deathmatch get a bad name is because there's a lot of really good wrestlers out there, like the Atticus Cogars, the O's, the, the you got the Pillars, MM3 and Tommy Vendetta. You got the British guys, Lou Nixon, again, Big F and Joe,
You get
Danny
Shane Mercer,
Darko,
you know,
like
Iron
Oliver,
Demon, stuff like
Shane
that.
Mercer,
Yeah.
exactly. You get all these guys that do it, but they're wrestlers that do death matches.
Mm-hmm.
They're not these guys who have never been trained and never do anything at the gym, never wrestled a match, don't understand the psychology match, and they put together classic matches and really good matches. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that for me is the difference between a wrestler, a professional wrestler who could do death matches, and a guy who just goes out and beats himself half to death
With a weed
because he
whacker
doesn't
or
know how to work
something.
properly.
Right.
Exactly. Now you could do a weed whacker, but build to it.
Build to it. Right.
Add
Yeah.
suspense, tease it. You know what I mean? Tease it, build up to it.
Make it mean
Don't just
something.
go bang. I'm gonna get this now, and bang, I'll hit him with it.
Exactly.
Next, what am I gonna hit him with next? And just constantly keep hitting me. Like use it and build to it and tell a story around it. Like work the gimmick. Like that's what the art form's there for. It's such an open book and out of the box thinking like deathmatch wrestling. It's because a lot of times in professional wrestling you do it so long, you can be creative, but you've still got those restrictions of what you can do inside the box that's family friendly, that's this, that, the other.
Mm-hmm.
When you do deathmatch shows, you have no sort of box. Your creativity, you can do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not going to kill yourself or kill someone else. Do you know what I mean? There's no sort of rhyme or reason to it. As long as you can make it make sense in a match, add it to the match to make sense, and do it as so it looks as good as possible, but it's as safe as possible, then there's no reason. It's the last bastion of kayfabe, I believe, deathmatch wrestling, because it's some of those things that even a lot of the wrestlers will go, "Fucking hell, he did that," and then
Right.
you're going, "I know exactly how it was worked and how it was gimmicked and how we did it, and how we studied it and how we researched this before we did it," and you're just looking at 5 minutes and going, "What a fucking idiot he is because he did this." And that's you buying what I'm putting out there. Do you know what I mean? I'm putting this out there, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going, "Oh, you did that." I said, "Did I though? Are
That's
you just
fascinating.
thinking that was what happened?" You know what I mean? It's like
That's
that's what
awesome.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Do you know what I mean? And you're sitting there going, "They bought into it," and this, and it's a lot of the really educated, the old school wrestlers that'll go, "That's bullshit. Just not wrestling. That's this." And you go, "No, but that's exactly what wrestling is. If it's good enough for Terry Funk, it's good enough for all the rest of the guys." I'm not saying the guys are at the level of Terry Funk, but I'm saying if Terry Funk can go and wrestle on beds and nails and wrestle in barbed wire and use a brand and iron and beat each other with chairs and bleed all over and have great striking fights with the likes of Stan Hansen and people like that, there's no reason why you can't do that in today's day and age. It's just because they don't like it because they go, "That's not what my idea of wrestling is." But wrestling could be anything you want it to be, done within the realms of respect for the industry. Now, you're not hurting anybody by making money. The deathmatch fans go watch death matches because it's there. It's deathmatch. They know what it is. Nobody turns up. It's not like you turn up to a family show and it's like, "Oh, here's a death match." Do you know what I mean? That's not the way things are. People go, "Oh, well, this, and that," but it's not that. It's these are a unique bunch of fans, and probably the most loyal fans you'll ever find are the deathmatch fans. They'll do everything they can, walk over hot coals to get you whatever you need or what do you want to do, and they'll support you to no ends. Do you know what I mean? And these are the fans that turn up to these shows. Yeah, you're never going to sell out the Pontiac Silverdome. You're never going to get 95,000 people. It would be nice to, but you'll probably never get that in deathmatch wrestling. But you don't need that. All you need is a loyal fan base that go and support it and want to get behind it and enjoy watching it, and a bunch of guys who love to do it. Then there's no harm to anyone else. Because I'm not stealing your fans. Because Joe Blog down the road is not going to take his kids to see a deathmatch show over a family friendly show. They're going to go see the family friendly show. So there's no reason to worry about it. It's not hurting you. It's not taking food off your table. So
Well
let
said.
people get on with what they want to get on. Do Do you know what I mean? Just
Absolutely.
I live and
Absolutely.
let live, freedom of speech, all that stuff. I'm big on the freedom of speech.
Well, Tim, you have painted a beautiful picture of what to expect for your upcoming death matches at WrestleMania week in Vegas.
Yes,
You have
yes,
3 death matches that week. Plus, you're going to
I
be at
have.
WrestleCon on Sunday. I don't know how you're going
I
to do
am.
it. Your body's going to be beat to shit. But
Bring me candy on Sunday if you're at WrestleCon.
yeah,
Bring me candy.
I'll come
That's
see you. I'll
all I'll
visit
say.
some candy. Not a problem.
That's it.
That's the least I could
That's
do.
it. That's
But
fine. That works for me.
tell us, what else do you have coming up?
So I've got uh, this weekend. I'm off with the family with my kids and stuff because I've got Lust for Death the week after, which is a death match tournament in Scotland. That has Necro Butcher on, Mickey Knuckles on. There's a number of the UK guys that are in the tournament, the likes of Lunix and Jack Harrop, Iceman is on the show. Franco Fate, like Lord Jack Bennett, a lot of the guys who I haven't mentioned. I could list off the name of the guys who are great over here
Yeah.
and brilliant wrestlers. They're all on that show, and then I fly to Vegas on the Monday. So then I'm in Vegas for Monday to Monday. So it's going to be an interesting week. I've got a show on Wednesday at the Sci-Fi Centre for World's Greatest Wrestling. Then I've got Thursday. I've got another show for World's Greatest Wrestling at the Dive Bar, and then I've got Marks or Russ against Joe Dredd on the night in a bunkhouse bed of nails death match,
Oh
which
my
would be
God.
great. And then on Friday night, I challenge for the Ruthless Pro Heavyweight Championship against Hoodfoot. That's just going to be non-stop, but just a big fight, just a big slugfest, and I'm looking forward to it so much, so much. And then on Saturday, I challenge for the Rise European Deathmatch Championship against my good pal, my riding buddy, Lou Nixon. He's like my brother. Me and him are going to have a death match on Saturday to show the Americans what the UK guys are all about, and we're just going to tear it up. And then I've got WrestleCon to sort of sit there and cry
And
and
look your wounds, yeah.
lick my
Yeah.
wounds and eat sweets. Hopefully, if people bring me sweets and candies,
We'll bring you some
that's
sweets,
it.
my friend. Don't you worry.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all I
Awesome.
want.
Well,
But
again, man,
it's
Tim, thank you so much, my friend. Like, you've been a great interview. This has been so insightful into the mind of a deathmatch wrestler. It's amazing. One of my favorite interviews to date. Thank you so much for taking the time. Again,
thank you for
representing
having me.
Newfoundland, proud of you. Thank you so much for everything you
Always.
do. And my friend, we will see you in Vegas WrestleMania week.
See you in WrestleMania week. Take care.
Take
All
care.
the best.
Cheers.
Bye.